Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is BC. Welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. I'm your host. As always, if you guys want to check out the new website, we have everything there. You also have the opportunity to get on our new email list, which comes with a bunch of bonus features. Make sure you get on it. Number two, those of you who have been listening for a while, or if you're new and you're looking for additional support, you need help building skills, you need some support, any other ways that you need help, I'm confident that we can help you. Reach out below, schedule your free strategy call, and we can help you out. Get on our public Discord. Check out all the links in the description, okay? I have a question for you. Can you control yourself? All right? Odd question. Maybe you're wondering why I'm asking, but can you control yourself? All right? A lot of this has to do with emotions, right? But can you actually control yourself? One of the biggest things that they prey on people on this planet is through the advertisement and allure of sex, right? Porn is being thrown at you 24/7 at the click of a button. You can find it anywhere, right? Accessible even on your phone now. I remember kids in class watching porn. It was ridiculous. Any alcohol or beverage or lifestyle or thing on TV or social media, normally they sprinkle sex in because they know it's going to lure you in and attract you, right? Can you control that, or are you going to live impulsively by your urges? Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with sex. On the contrary, we just need to learn about it, and we need to understand it for what it is and why we respond to it the way that we respond to it, the way we take this taboo-ness off of it, right? I don't agree with teaching it to little kids and all the bullshit that they're pushing in schools. I'm totally against that. I think that has no business being in schools. It's ridiculous, right? But you have to ask yourself, can you control yourself? The last time you were hungry, right? I mean, think about this. People are so manipulated by their own impulses like hunger that they don't even eat when they're hungry. They just eat because they're addicted and they want to eat. Like when it's time for you to eat, do you let it get you in a bad mood and your short-temperedness comes out and you get all frustrated just because you can't eat? It's like, dude, you're going to be fine. I'm not asking you to what was it, like Jesus walked through the desert for like 3 weeks or a month, like without eating? I don't know the story exactly, right? Or I don't remember the details, but you mean to tell me if you can't eat right now that the world is going to end and it's okay for you to be emotional and be distraught? No, it's a sign of immaturity, dude. It's a sign to me that you're weak, even to your own impulses. Yes, you'll eat. It's okay. You can wait. Just like if I'm going to eat and I'm presented with something, even though I'm hungry, that goes against my diet, I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to fast until I can eat the food that I'm going to eat. What do people do? Oh, I'm just going to eat right now because I'm starving and I can't hold it anymore. And this and that. It's like, dude, you're just weak. You're somebody who can't control themselves. You give in to your impulses. And I'm bringing this up because although a lot of people follow me for more, like sales and business stuff overall, this internal switch, this internal strength and skill is something that permeates every aspect of your beingness and your existence. Can you control yourself? Right? Case in point, the young men listening, how many of you are interested in getting girls? Perfect. Let's say you work every day at 9, or you follow me and you're an entrepreneur and you're a business person. But you're like, hey, I like this girl. We're going to go out, then I'm going to invite her over to my place, man. It's going to happen, right? Everybody can relate, both sexes. And every night, I'm not going to make this story long, but every night you're in bed by 10, maybe 10:30 at the latest. Because you got to get up. You have your morning routine and you have to work and be efficient. And you can't use staying up late as an excuse. Well, you shouldn't, right? We can all agree on that. But what happens? You hang out with the girl. Maybe you get home at 9. Are you telling the girl, or are you telling the guy, if this is a girl in this instance, are you telling them, hey, you got to be out of here by 10 because I got to go to sleep? And even if you do that, the next step is, are you honoring that? Are you actually honoring it? And if 10 comes around, are you saying, okay, it's time for you to go? 99 out of 100 times, no. Why? Because the promise, or not even the promise, the possibility of you getting laid or doing what you want to do is there. So what do? You break your rules. You go against your own creation. You go against your own success. You go against your own fulfillment. Why? Because you can't control yourself. And the other person, especially if you told them that you have to be going to sleep early and then you don't and you break the rule, they lose respect for you, man. You look weak. You know how many times in the past I kicked a girl out and they're left almost dumbfounded, like, wow, you're really kicking me out? I'm like, yes, I have shit to do. Trying to have sex with you isn't the number one thing in my life. Like, who cares, dude? I have shit to do. I have my empire to build. Like, okay, we had fun. Bye. I can control myself. Now, was there a time in the past that I couldn't? Of course. I'm no different than you. But I understood that for me to level up, I was going to have to handle that. And I was going to have to be able to overcome my impulses. Because that's that same thing that in the morning when maybe you didn't get enough sleep or you don't feel perfectly 100% healthy, maybe you slightly sick, 10% sick, you'll use that as a legitimate excuse to stop doing what you do. That's wrong. Control yourself, man. Even if I don't feel good, I'm still going to show up. If I give you my word that I'm going to do something, I don't care unless it's like a world-ending emergency, right? Like, oh, a meteor is going to hit in 2 seconds. It doesn't really matter if I do it. We're all going to die anyway. Well, barring that, I'm going to do it. I'm a man of my word. I don't want to go back on it. But I can control myself. Can you? Whether it's food, whether it's sex, or whether it's anything else. Can you, when you're frustrated after a week of doing work, like I tell you, making the calls, going door to door, building your business as an entrepreneur, if you haven't gotten the result yet, well, first of all, you put the expectation of what you think you're supposed to get, which is wrong. But after a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months of no results, can you still show up every day with the same spark and energy as you did the first day? That's going to require control. Why? Because you're going to want to emotionally be a little bitch. Oh, well, I'm not getting the results. Oh, this is hard. Oh, this is frustrating. You go into that little weak, pathetic victim, woe is me mode that doesn't do shit for you, but make it more difficult. Because now, emotionally, you're wrecking yourself. That's what's happening in those moments. You're wrecking yourself because you can't control yourself and say, you know what? Yes, this sucks, but I'm going to keep doing what I do because this is what I chose. And I'm the type of man, I see things through when I say it. Period. End of story. Right? Now, for the business people listening to me, don't you think your client would appreciate that attitude in you and want somebody like that versus the one who complains? Because don't you turn around when the shoes are in the when the roles are reversed? Don't you complain? And aren't you upset when your customer calls you complaining about every little thing and they can't hold their emotions? Doesn't that frustrate you? Well, you do the same thing to yourself. So you're a hypocrite if you expect them to hold themselves to a standard that you won't hold yourself to. I mean, give me a break. You're supposed to be the shining example of how those around you could aspire to be. Or they would look at you and be like, man, he's a great embodiment of these principles. Well, if you don't exhibit that behavior, how can you expect the customer and hold them to that standard in regards to exhibiting that behavior? That's there's something wrong there. It's a fallacy, right? It's you being hypocritical. Yet we walk around as if, oh, hey, I expect the customer to pay me a premium, but I, in my life, am a cheap ass fucking cheapskate. It's okay. No, it's not. You're being a hypocrite, and it's never going to work that way. You best believe that everything in my life, I pay the premium, and I expect my customers to pay me a premium. You walk the walk, you talk the talk. Same thing with everything else. I keep myself in check emotionally. So, of course, if I set that expectation to my client up front, guess what? I'm a man of my word, and I do the same thing. I'm not asking you to do something that I don't do or embody some trait that I don't embody. Now, again, I'm being a hypocrite. I'm being like all these, scumbags on social media that fake the funk. I'm not like that. Not at all. I hate that. So ask yourself, can you control yourself? Because if not, something needs to be done. If your emotions are all over the place, you have to ask yourself, number one, is this normal behavior? And let me give you the answer. Hell no, it's not. No, it's not. Number two, what are you going to do about it? Seriously, what are you going to do about it? What exactly are you going to do? I'm somebody that can help you, sure. But most of you aren't in close proximity to me. You're not a student. You're not one of my team members. So I can only help you to a degree. And there's some tips that I can give you. But whether it's this or something else, you have to make a decision to say, okay, when am I finally going to step up and get the help that I need to build my skills or get my emotions in check or, build the mindset of a god as much as possible or whatever it is, financial mastery and budgeting, right? Whatever it is that you need to do. Because if we're going to talk about controlling yourself, what I'm going to recommend is the opposite of what people tell you. I'm going to tell you to sprint towards temptation, not away from it. If you're somebody who wants to control their drinking, you can't just be the one who can't have alcohol around and tells everybody to put their drinks away and no, nobody can drink around me. No, then you're not somebody who's recovered and who's stable around it. You're a disaster to where even the sighting or smell of alcohol will just trigger you. You're not cured. You're weak. You're very weak, and you're asking everything and everyone to conform to your weakness. That's wrong. Just like with my diet, you can eat garbage in front of me, meat, dairy, everybody around me. I'm not going to waver a millimeter from my diet and lifestyle because I don't care how much, in quotes, temptation. That's not even temptation for me, but whatever's around me because I'm strong. That's how good I am at controlling myself. So how do you build it? By jumping in it first. You're uncomfortable around people who are loud, get around loud people more often and start to build that control and comfort. You have trouble not drinking alcohol, get comfortable being around it so you don't feel tempted anymore. Because now it's like, okay, it's not this foreign thing that has this grip on me. It's just other people drinking. It's okay. You need to desensitize yourself to these things, right? And you need to bring a little bit of awareness to the situation. So now when you have an outburst or you respond unfavorably, you can catch it in the moment and ask yourself, why did I go to that knee-jerk response? Why did I default to that? What caused it? Okay, next time I get that initial feeling or shot of anger, I'm going to take a breath and stop instead of just yelling. You see, this is how you start taking these things into your own hands and forging and changing your habitual patterns and your impulses, because ultimately it's under your control, right? Just because I have to go to the bathroom right now, does it mean I have to go to the bathroom? No, my body's indicating to me you need to pee or you need to go poo-poo or whatever it is, right? Now, if I have to hold it, I'll hold it. Now, I'm still going to expedite the process and ask around, but I'm not going to run around, oh my God, I need to go to the bathroom. Because then you make it worse. Now you're making yourself frantic. So emotionally, you're charging yourself and you're intensifying that discomfort that you already have. You already have it. Just acknowledge it and say, okay, this is temporary. I'll get rid of it. Same thing with anxiety. A lot of people ask me, oh, anxiety and this and that. I'm like, dude, you make it a million times worse. Because then what do? Oh my God, I'm so anxious. And you turn it up. You cause it to intensify. You maybe got a little shot of it and you turn it into a 100 times shot by all the things that you tell yourself, your erratic breathing patterns, right? Your lack of ability to relax, right? Focusing on the problem instead of the solution. You rile yourself up and you mess yourself up. So how about we work on that, bringing awareness to it and then making sure that we're not being self-contributors towards the intensification of these impulses or emotions or whatever it is, right? Because that's the first step. Another thing that you can do is get around people who exhibit mastery in those areas. I'm somebody who is very good at controlling myself. When do you come around, though? Being on an Instagram live or watching a YouTube video, that's not enough, right? If this is important to you. And maybe it's not me. Maybe it's someone else. What are you doing to get around them? Again, just listening to the podcast and the YouTube and all, it's not enough if you're serious about something. So that was step one, right? Throw yourself in it. Throw yourself in it, right? Desensitize yourself to these things so they don't hurt you, right? So they're not so freaky to you. Number two, understand that if you're in a position right now where emotions, you feel like they control you, you can get to the point where your mind and your consciousness can have control over your emotions, right? And that's a deep-rooted belief. As much as we are animal, we're also higher intelligence as human beings. But if at the core, you don't believe what I just said wholeheartedly, you're never going to have control over it. Why? Because you feel like you're always going to be a victim of circumstances, or because I'm from this culture, this is what I do, right? All that stuff is embedded in that erroneous belief that we are nothing but impulses. No, you have that in you because you're part animal and it's in your DNA, but you have higher intelligence, right? You have something like the spark of consciousness and more that other things don't have. Animals operate 100% on their impulse. You don't. You can feel an emotion and still in your mind say, oh, I'm feeling fear, but it's okay. We're in a safe place. And you have to recognize that and as simple as that sounds, you may acknowledge it, but if you don't believe it all the way into the depths of your bones and your soul, all this information or anybody will not be able to help you to the extent that you really need it. Because at the core, remember, we're beliefs, values, and identity at the core, at the very bottom. At the top, what do people talk about and deal with all the time? Thoughts, ideas, actions. That's the surface level, dude. You need to get down to the core. If in your identity, you believe you're an introvert or you're a victim of circumstances or your culture or this and that, nothing's going to change if you just replace things at the top. you're going to have to revolutionize your belief system. And that's why it's important to listen to these types of things and ponder on it. And really, because thinking isn't automatic, you have to go in there and think yourself and rationalize and critically think and analyze, right? And reason with yourself and others. This is an active process. It's not passive. Start bringing in examples and saying, hey, when this happened or when I have this thought, should I have that? Is that automatic? Am I questioning it, right? This is how you start to use your mechanism to clean up your system and improve it and make it better, which is ultimately what you want. That's ultimately what you want. So ask yourself, if I made a list right now of things I need to control myself a little bit more with, what would they be? And I know the most common ones for people are food addictions, obsession with like sex and porn, right? Distraction and controlling this need to be instantly gratified, right? Instant gratification, if we're going to call it that. Those are some of the main ones. And there's a lot more, but those are three. Controlling reactions from other people. Somebody honks at you in traffic. Do you immediately flip them off and yell, fuck you? Or can you keep going, right? Without being shook at all? Those are some of the bigger ones that you see in society today. And again, what are you going to do? What's the plan of action now moving forward to not only acknowledge this, but fix it and create a systematic process in order to rid this out of your system and put in new thought patterns and action patterns and belief systems that lead to your betterment and evolution, not your deterioration and destruction, right? And this is a very important topic. This goes down to the depth of your soul, man. That's the beauty of the human being, is you can be whatever you want to be. You can be whatever you want to be. You could have been born and told that you were shy and you'll never be a great communicator. But if you really believe in your heart of hearts that you can be a great communicator and then you work at it, guess what? You'll be a great communicator, because it's what you're focusing on, it's what you believe, and it's what you're working for. The formula is really that simple. And then finding the best people along the way to help you get there, right? So the ball's in your court now, ladies and gentlemen. I know, because I've changed so much, that this is important. This can be done. And this is something that if you can learn to control these things, like, and I'll wrap it up like this, right? Let's say you do enjoy something. Let's say you do enjoy playing video games, which even to this day, I do every once in a while, right? I might fire up a game for 30 minutes or an hour and play, right? Set it up, control yourself, do all the right things. And then when it's 7 or 8 p.m. and your day's over and you've done everything you said you were going to do, then now you can reward yourself with an hour or two of playing the video game if you want. That's fine. But at least now that's by design and under your control. Because even though you woke up and you felt like not doing anything and playing the video game, you didn't succumb to that. You said, no, I do enjoy the pleasure of playing the video game, but I'm going to do my morning routine. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do a little bit extra. And then when my day's done at 7, we'll take a look. And if I've done everything, my reward for doing everything correct is to play the video game for an hour or two. Okay, that is somebody I could talk to and have respect for. Now, ultimately, if they play 1 or 2 hours of video games every single day, day in and day out, 365 days a year, maybe we can talk a little bit more about it in regards to trimming some of that time down into something maybe a little bit more productive, right? Especially if they're not happy or fulfilled in their current circumstance, right? But that's a separate conversation. What we're going at now is, this is how you can demonstrate in real time, very simply, how to literally control yourself. Because there's an emotion there of just wanting pleasure and not working, and leisure and laziness. And you fought it. You did what you were supposed to do. And then you rewarded yourself at the end. Fantastic, right? I wouldn't complain about that. I'm only going to give you criticism and critique it if you're really looking for something more high level, or if you tell me you want to achieve something else, because then we might have to cut into that time. But as an overarching structure, what I just described, if somebody does that, is great, right? You're doing it correctly. That would be a way of literally controlling yourself, not at the highest monk nirvana level, but pretty damn good, because most people can't even do that. Okay. So with that said, everybody, appreciate you listening in. We're going to end it here. As always, check us out on all the major streaming platforms on the audio. We're also on YouTube with the Supreme Being podcast channel. Get on our website, get on our email list, check out all the courses, coaching, and everything I have there. Also, if you're looking for more help and support, especially with topics like these, we can help you. Schedule your free strategy call. The link is in my bio on Instagram, Facebook. You can find it in the YouTube description of all my videos and the pinned comments. It's there. All right. That's it for this one. Join our public Discord as well, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.